but just regular folks have said to me, why don't they make comedies like they used to? And for whatever reason, like the powers that be, like, I mean, I have my theories that are like conspiratorial, why they stopped.
Here, brother.
I don't want to get into it.
Old School for me is the funniest movie of that time. It's kind of like I talk about the NBC Thursday night lineup back in the day with The Office and 30 Rock and Parks and Rec and Community, and some of them get more love, but 30 Rock to me is always the funniest.
Right.
I feel like Old School is a similar thing, where like some of those other movies of that time get a little more praise. Old School is start to finish, 90 minutes, fucking hysterical.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to Scott Armstrong and Todd Phillips. They just wrote a great script. And then, getting Will and Vince, those guys were both kind of great engines to drive it. And then also it's like, and they do it with good dramatic movies too, all the other parts are really good actors and really funny people. And I mean, I always say like Chinatown, it's like Chinatown, Jack Nicholson's great, but every other actor, even if it's just one scene, is great.
Terry O'Quinn's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all the fraternity recruits, are really funny guys.
Now, can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. When you said the fraternity recruits, it reminded me. I was just reading about this, and I hadn't seen it. I hadn't known this until I just read it. But Todd Phillips wrote it as kind of a Fight Club, where you were kind of Ed Norton's character.
Yeah, I can remember him saying that at the time, and I always kind of kept that in mind. But yeah, just even when you see that kind of wardrobe, it seems kind of like Fight Club, kind of what
like
Edward
the dreary
Norton,
office worker.
Exactly, kind of drab colors and the tie and the
And then Vince Vaughn's the Brad Pitt. He's kind of your counterpart. And then the frat itself was the Fight Club. Where it was like, here's where all the chaos and the debauchery
I can remember him
ensues.
saying that back then. I always thought it was like a funny concept. And I just thought there were kind of a few similarities. But yeah, Todd is a great, really sharp director, obviously, and he's done all kinds of things. But yeah, that's what I think people don't kind of realize. It takes intelligent guys like that to make a good comedy, just like Animal House. That's the one I kind of hold in really high regards, but really smart, funny guys wrote it, directed it, great guys in it. And because it takes all those elements, and then because other times, people try and do kind of a comedy, but it can be just too dumb.
Exactly.
And it just doesn't work, and it doesn't make you laugh. Or they go kind of over the top and make it, just kind of crass, and I don't find funny.
Exactly with you.
But yeah, anyhow, it's nice when something works.
Scott Armstrong, one of the co-writers of the screenplay, he said you had like a perfectly built-in angst that really worked for Mitch. Is that something you were working for, or is that just Luke?
I mean, I think I was aware that I was kind of the straight man in the movie, and I'd kind of kid around when I'd be doing scenes with Will and Vince, that all I ever said was, "Wait, what? What's happening? What are you guys trying to do?" Where they got to be like jive talking and moonwalking, and I was having to be kind of like just the straight guy that stuff happened to. But no, that's a fun role to play too.
It is very
and I can't do what Vince does, and I can't do what Will does.
Now, Will, before this, he was an SNL star, but this is really his breakout role, which I didn't realize until preparing for this. Did you guys not realize on set how great he was going to be for the role? When obviously you got to set, I guess.
Well, definitely realized how funny he was, just because when he first showed up on SNL, it's just like, who is this guy? Because he just seems like kind of a ordinary guy, but then you realize has this kind of out there sense of humor and can do these unbelievable impressions and characters. I just knew it appealed to me on set, and I thought it was really funny. But that can happen too, where you're having a great time on set and you're like, this is hilarious, and then it just does not translate for whatever reason. Right. You can have fun days at work, but Will was just great as Frank.
What would you say the biggest difference between Will as Frank, or working with Will as Frank, and working with Will as the Hawk is? I imagine he has a much bigger wake around him these days.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure. I mean, and it's so fun, like, with the Hawk, it's Will's like the CEO of the company in a great way. Like he's kind of, like Sandler, he's kind of built this empire where he kind of hires everybody. He hires the crew people, the writers, the directors, he oversees the scripts. So, the great thing about that is he hires just great people. So, whenever I would have an idea, if it would work, great, and if it didn't work, that's when I know that, sometimes I don't quite trust somebody. If I'm like, okay, you're like giving up a laugh here by not using that. But with Will, you have complete trust in him. But yeah, it is funny to think about him back on old school, where it was just more kind of a hired gun. Yeah. While at the same time, adding so much, a really funny script, but then, obviously ad-libbing and improvising really funny stuff. But, with the Hawk, he was just great to be around. And yeah, the idea that you have 10 episodes, and he's talked about that while doing press, where you can really open something up. Yeah. And with a script for a movie, they always say it's like 100 pages or 110 pages. I feel like when I first got to town, I was like, comedy should be 120 pages. Like now I feel like they're saying 100.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and I'm sure you've seen this, where it's like you have to start whittling stuff down and losing stuff, and it just breaks your heart. And then on the flip side, you can get those movies that are too long. Where they're 2 hours and you kind of run out of steam.
I think we had a phase of those. I think we're on the other side of it now, but we did have a phase where it's like, this is 2.5 hours?
Right,
what the
fuck? But with the Hawk, you're able to really open stuff up and have, lots of room for scenarios and laughs.
It's funny, watching this, I was rewatching Old School the other day, and I was like, God, they really don't make them like this anymore. I feel old saying it, but they really don't. Like, between the set pieces and like how massive the extra scenes were. I actually thought the Hawk had a couple of those. Between the TGL scene and then a couple of the course, I thought they were pretty big sets. Did you feel like it was kind of a throwback to older Hollywood?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I know people, but just regular folks have said to me, why don't they make comedies like they used to? And for whatever reason, like the powers that be, I have my theories that are like conspiratorial, why they stopped.
Here, brother.
I don't want to get into it. But for some reason, the basic gist of it is like the people in charge are just not funny.
Yeah.
And like too careful and worried about feelings, so they just kind of like.
I heard Megan McCarthy explain it once, where she was saying back in the day, you got to go into a studio, into a boardroom, and pitch yourself to suits, and maybe one of the people in there would believe in you. But nowadays it's also numbers based, that no one will even hear your idea. They just want to know, like, do the numbers back up that it'll work? Yeah. Where it's like you got to take a risk on a crazy fucking idea sometimes.
I got back a note about a joke in a script that said it was imperialistic. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I was like, is imperial a compliment? What? I was like, does that mean like empire building? I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
This is too imperialistic. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but no, I just feel like there are all these, maybe little factions, where in the old days, you'd get one person who'd be like, okay, good script, good director, I trust him to hire the right people, let's let him go.
Exactly.
But there's so many things that wouldn't get made today that used to get made in the old days, but anyhow.